Sagittarius, tonight marks the end of a period where your vast, expansive vision felt unjustly confined. What felt like a stubborn block to your next grand journey or a cynical cloud over your natural optimism is being dissolved. A specific influence, someone who seemed to champion your ambition but secretly feared your light, has been subtly undermining your forward momentum. This energy, rooted in small-mindedness and limitation, brought a frustration you couldn't fully articulate. But that ends tonight. Jupiter, your ruling planet, is sweeping through your energetic space to restore your boundless freedom and your inherent right to the truth. This message is not a coincidence. It's a divine redirect. Sagittarius, your superpower is your relentless pursuit of truth. You don't just sense a lie. You feel the confinement of it in your soul like a barrier blocking the horizon. You don't need loud evidence or dramatic confrontations. You know when the vision is blocked, even if the road looks clear. Your spirit has led you here to cosmic treasure for a reason. You are being prepared for a spiritual liftoff. You've been holding the weight of an untruth far longer than a free spirit should. You've tried to see the good in a situation that was poison, tried to keep things moving while someone close to you quietly worked against your foundation of optimism. Maybe it showed up in sudden roadblocks to travel or education, in a drain on your adventurous energy, or a pervasive feeling that your next chapter was perpetually delayed. Maybe you thought it was just stress, or that you were overthinking, but you weren't. Tonight, under the expansive and truth-seeking influence of Jupiter, your ruling planet, and the vibrational power of the No.3, which signals creation and forward movement, the cycle of hidden restriction comes to a close. What operated in the shadow of small-mindedness will now be swept into the open by divine truth. You will not need to expose her. The universe will. The cosmos already has the next moves in motion. Here at Cosmic Treasure, we do more than read the stars. We listen for what heaven is whispering. We align not only with the cosmic, but with the sacred. This space is built to hold revelations like this, truths that reach into your spirit and speak to the exact season you're living. Now, Sagittarius, let me take a quiet moment to say thank you. Thank you for showing up, for listening deeply, and for walking this spiritual path with courage. Every time you like, comment, or share these messages, you bring more light to this space. Every time you subscribe, you join a growing family rooted in transformation, faith, and divine clarity. Your presence here doesn't just support this channel, it fuels its mission. So yes, thank you from the deepest part of my heart, and believe me when I say, what is coming in this video will not just surprise you, it may shift your entire perspective. But first, I want to hear from you. Have you felt the presence of someone trying to clip your wings lately? Have you sensed the subtle resistance, even when nothing seemed obviously wrong? If so, you're not alone, and your spirit knows the truth. Take a moment now to comment below and say, "My truth is my freedom." Your words don't just confirm the message, they activate the energy, so speak them boldly. Stay with me, Sagittarius, we're just getting started. What's about to be revealed will bring more than closure. It will bring boundless possibility. Real possibility, the kind that only comes when the truth sets you free. Let's begin. Sagittarius, you've always had a rare and sacred gift, the ability to see the vision, the bigger picture, the philosophical truth that underlies surface appearances. That quiet feeling of disconnect in a conversation, the sudden drag on your energy when you feel confined, or the immediate boredom in a room where the truth is missing. These aren't coincidences, they are messages. And you, unlike many, have the spiritual sensitivity to receive them. You've likely learned by now that truth rarely arrives with complicated explanations. It comes as a flicker in your chest, a clear, unmistakable pull toward the horizon, a moment where your body recognizes what your mind hasn't yet processed. This isn't anxiety. It's not paranoia. It's your intuition. And more than that, it's your spiritual radar governed by Jupiter, the planet of truth and expansion. You were born with a built-in compass that doesn't just point north. It points to what's authentic. Your intuition doesn't need evidence because it already understands the integrity of energy. And Sagittarius, When your intuition flares, it's often because something in the unseen world is trying to limit your inherent freedom. Many people try to silence this voice. They second-guess themselves, or worse, let others talk them out of what they feel. But you, deep instinctual and perpetually seeking, are different. You've walked into situations that looked like opportunity on the outside, but felt small and confining, and later learned that your first sense was right all along. You've met people who spoke of abundance, but held the energy of scarcity. You've sensed a lie long before it was proven. And this is not only a strength, it's a sacred form of protection. In astrology, Jupiter is not a gentle teacher. It doesn't settle. It expands. And for those under its rule like you, truth is not optional, it's essential. This is why you feel discomfort when something's out of alignment. It's your soul calling you back to spiritual integrity. When something or someone is not for you, you feel it not just emotionally, but vibrationally. That spiritual GPS of yours, it doesn't just see what's ahead, it sees what's real. And right now, it's why you're here, because something in your energetic field has been trying to get your attention. Perhaps it was a repetitive sense of déjà vu that lingered. Perhaps it was a sudden irrational desire to drop everything and travel. Or maybe it was just the way someone spoke, a half-truth, and suddenly your entire nervous system was on high alert. You are not crazy. You are not imagining it. You are remembering your own sensitivity. You are awakening again to your divine discernment, and this is the moment to trust it not just as a feeling but as divine instruction. One beautiful way to honor this gift is to start planning your next journey, even if it's just on paper. Keep a journal not for logic but for soul vision. Write down every idea for travel, every grand scheme, every moment when your body speaks louder than words. Over time, you'll see patterns, and those patterns will become proof that you've always known, even when you couldn't explain how. We live in a world that rewards caution, but you, Sagittarius, thrive in the leap of faith beneath it. Your power lies in seeing the next horizon others miss. And tonight, as the universe begins to move things into place, that very intuition, the one you've doubted, dismissed, or overlooked, will become your greatest ally. So I ask you, as we move forward together, have you ever felt something was off before it was confirmed? Have you ever heard the whisper of the truth before the lie collapsed? If yes, you're not alone. You're in alignment. Feel free to share in the comments, I knew it before I saw it, I just didn't trust my vision. This is your space to reclaim your insight, and this time you won't ignore it. Let's keep going. There are moments in life, Sagittarius, when the truth doesn't arrive with thunder. It arrives in a revelation, a sudden clarity that makes the past seem foolish, an immediate understanding of a lie that was hidden in plain sight, a quiet tension that suddenly fills the room like fog. You know those moments. You've felt them before, and you're likely feeling one right now. This is not paranoia, nor is it overthinking. It is the arrival of truth through the language your spirit knows best, freedom. That's how truth shows itself to those who are spiritually aware, intellectually awake, and attuned to the rhythm beneath the noise. What's unfolding for you is not an external confrontation, but an internal revelation. You are not being asked to expose someone. You are being guided to stand in your truth long enough for the lie to expose itself. In the great cycles of the universe, some truths are delivered not with a battle, but with clarity so undeniable that it dismantles the lie by its very presence. This is the energy that surrounds you now, one of silent but certain unveiling. In astrology, this experience aligns with the vibration of the Hierophant, the keeper of sacred wisdom, the guardian of universal law, and the embodiment of structure that sees everything. He speaks through education, philosophy, and alignment with the higher good. His message is simple but profound. Seek the higher meaning, observe the lesson, trust the divine law. Not all battles require you to draw your bow. Some require you to hold your philosophical ground until deception falls apart on its own. This is exactly where you are right now. You don't need to chase proof. The universe is already working in your favor, arranging details behind the scenes. Someone's mask is slipping. The energy they've projected outward, pretending, controlling, manipulating, is now circling back toward them. And when that energy returns, it takes with it the illusion they've built. Your role is not to interfere. It's to remain grounded in your peace and open in your awareness. If you've been holding on to a growing suspicion but haven't been able to fully explain it, try this gentle practice tonight. Write down what your heart has sensed, even if you have no evidence. Write it clearly, honestly, and with no filter. Place that note under a bright light source, a candle or a lamp by your bedside. As you sleep, allow your subconscious to open. When you wake, pay attention to your dreams, to your body, to your emotions, and even to what you hear on the radio or in casual conversation. You may be surprised at how quickly truth begins to ripple through your reality, not loudly but precisely. This is the power of alignment. When you are spiritually aligned, you no longer need to chase confirmation. It finds you. And Sagittarius, because of your deeply truth-seeking nature, your confirmation is already en route. All that is required of you now is patience and stillness. You've already done the hardest part, trusting yourself enough to know something wasn't right. Now allow that knowing to complete its arc. The truth is not something you have to demand. It is something that rises with or without your permission at exactly the moment it is meant to. And if you've ever lived through a moment where the truth revealed itself without effort, without evidence, without needing you to search for it, only to discover later that your soul had been right all along, then let that memory be your fun, validation. You are not imagining this. You are remembering. If this resonates with you, I invite you to comment below and write. The truth always sets me free, right on time. Your voice matters, and when you speak your truth, even in quiet ways, you give it the space to expand and find others who need it too. Let's keep going. The next part of this story is already unfolding. The energy we give to the world through thought, emotion, intention, or action never simply disappears. It moves in quiet, persistent circles. It flows outward and then returns like waves drawn back into the ocean. This isn't just poetic language, it's a principle woven into the laws of the universe. And for you, Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, law, and grand justice, this truth is more than symbolic. It's lived, it's experienced. You've seen firsthand how energy cannot be faked, masked, or contained. So when someone in your life attempts to distort truth, manipulate outcomes, or harm from the shadows, you may not respond outwardly, but your soul always notices, and the universe does too. The woman whose influence once felt restrictive, even invincible, is now beginning to unravel, not because you confronted her, not because you wished her harm, but because the energy she sowed was never sustainable. The law of cause and effect, known in spiritual circles as karma or the law of return, does not sleep. It doesn't punish. It simply reflects. Every intention carries a frequency, and that frequency eventually echoes back to its source. When those intentions are rooted in control, jealousy, or deceit, they may gain temporary traction, but eventually they collapse under their own weight. In numerology, this process is reflected in the No. 10, a vibration of wholeness, the wheel of fortune, and the completion of a cycle that allows for a new beginning. In tarot, the No. 10 belongs to the Wheel of Fortune card, a symbol of sudden change, yes, but also sacred alignment. The wheel doesn't turn to hurt you. It turns because the time for a karmic correction is due. And in this season, that correction is not yours. It is hers. The scaffolding of deception she's relied on, the emotional manipulation, the energy harvesting, it's all beginning to crumble. And with that crumbling comes something rare: freedom. You don't have to do anything but step back and observe what the universe is now correcting. This is not a moment for retaliation. In fact, Sagittarius, your greatest power lies in not interfering. Just as a river doesn't beg the banks to widen, they widen when the water demands it. You are being asked to trust that this too is a matter of timing. Your healing comes through surrender, not passive surrender, but active release. There's a difference. Retaliation binds you to the cycle, but release that sets you free. If this speaks to you, consider the simple ritual of fire, an echo of your element. Light a small candle safely And as you watch the flames, speak these words gently over yourself: I do not carry the burden of the lie. I release all restriction. I trust the universe to handle what I cannot. This isn't about removing pain in one instant. It's about shifting how you hold it, making space for optimism where cynicism once lived. That space becomes your protection. You've likely heard the phrase, you reap what you sow. From a cosmic perspective, this isn't punishment, it's alignment. And while the consequences may not come on your timeline, they always come. The woman who sowed restriction in secret is now walking into her own harvest. It is not your job to watch her fall. It is your invitation to rise. If you've already learned this, if you've already handed your pain over, if you've said, I no longer carry this alone, then speak it again as a declaration. Comment below and say, I release it. I trust the return not just as words, but as a commitment to your own peace. Stay with me, Sagittarius. There's more truth still rising. When everything around you feels uncertain, Sagittarius, what you often forget is how powerfully protected you already are. Not through loud defenses or visible shields, but through something far more profound, a subtle yet unbreakable energy, field that surrounds you like a second skin. This is not superstition. This is the natural response of the universe to a soul who has been pushed too close to the edge of restriction for too long. What you're experiencing right now isn't just a turning point. It's a spiritual recalibration. And part of that recalibration is the quiet, relentless protection that wraps itself around you without you needing to ask. You may not see it, but it's there in the moments when you walk into a room and feel a sudden sense of inspiration after days of chaos. In the way your body instinctively expands around certain people, signaling warmth and safety before your mind even catches up. In the dreams that deliver comfort in the exact moment you feel like giving up. These are not coincidences. They are evidence that your energetic space is being cleansed and guarded even in ways you can't explain. Astrologically, you're walking through a corridor ruled by Jupiter's expansion, but what most forget is that Jupiter doesn't only attract what's grand, it also protects what is sacred. When Jupiter opens a path, it also shields the traveler. That's what's happening to you right now. The betrayals, the disappointments, the weight of being misunderstood, these weren't random. They were the universe clearing out what could no longer be allowed near your light. And now that light is rising again, stronger, sharper, and divinely protected. The Hierophant reversed is often misunderstood as chaos, but it goes deeper. It symbolizes spiritual insulation, a divine buffer that prevents what was meant to break you from reaching your core. You may still feel the tremors of old wounds, but the collapse has passed. You survived it. What you're experiencing now is the stillness after the storm, the pause, where protection moves silently through the rubble, reinforcing your foundation with clarity and calm. And while the cosmos does its part, so must you. This is the time to anchor yourself in intention. One beautiful way to participate in your own protection is to create a ritual of remembrance. Light a white candle in a quiet room. As the flame flickers, speak aloud or within these words, I am protected, I am guided, I am worthy of boundless light. Let that flame carry your intention upward and outward. Let it signal to the universe that you are open, but no longer vulnerable, soft, but no longer exposed, healed, and no longer hunted. Colors speak too. Today, surround yourself with blue for truth, yellow for wisdom, and a vibrant green for healing and recovery. You might notice one of these colors showing up repeatedly in your clothes, your surroundings, or even in subtle signs on your feed. Pay attention. These are not aesthetic coincidences. They are signals that your energetic environment is aligning with your inner truth. If you've been noticing a particular color today more than usual, don't ignore it. Take it as confirmation that you're being watched over, not by eyes of judgment, but by forces that have always been with you, quiet, faithful, and unwavering. Let this be your next point of connection. Share with me in the comments, what color have you been seeing today? Because sometimes the way the universe speaks is in light, and right now it's speaking to you. Keep listening, keep receiving. The shield around you is real. Let's walk in that light together. You may not realize it yet, Sagittarius, but something shifted the moment you stopped holding on to what was never meant to stay. In the silence that followed the storm, a new rhythm has begun. Subtle, yes, but steady. This isn't just the closing of a chapter, it's the rebirth of your entire energetic state. And while the past may still linger in your memory, it no longer holds the same power over your path. The weight you carried, often without words, without explanation, is now dissolving like mist beneath the morning sun. This is the beginning of your next season, a cycle that doesn't carry the residue of betrayal or uncertainty, but one that is built on clarity, ease, and spiritual alignment. The fatigue you once couldn't explain, the heaviness that followed you like a shadow, is starting to lift. That alone is a sign, a signal that your soul has been quietly processing all the unseen battles and has now made room for peace to take its place. In this new cycle, your relationship with work and finances begins to shift. Opportunities feel more aligned, decisions feel lighter. The confusion that used to cloud your direction is clearing. Energetically, it's as if your internal compass has been recalibrated. The interference is gone. What remains is a clean frequency, one that pulls toward abundance rather than repelling it. You may also notice certain relationships becoming clearer. The ones that used to feel uncertain or emotionally draining will either deepen with authenticity or dissolve without conflict. This is the natural separation of aligned energy from misaligned connection. You don't need to force it. The truth of who belongs in your next season will make itself known through the way your body feels around them, light or heavy, safe or unsettled. Trust that the presence of the no. 3 is no accident in this moment. In numerology, 3 represents creation, optimism, and the soul's readiness to move forward into a higher expression. It carries the vibration of spiritual expansion. Over the next 72 hours, pay attention to this number. You may see it on clocks, receipts, license plates, or in random places that seem oddly precise. Every time you do, let it serve as a sacred reminder the old weight is gone. You are being guided into something freer, simpler, more true to your essence. One way to gently anchor yourself into this new beginning is to start your next morning intentionally. Light a candle or stand in the sunlight, and as you breathe, repeat this affirmation: I have honored the lesson. Now I welcome my boundless future. Let this affirmation echo through your breath. Let it settle in your bones. Let it tell the universe that you are not just ready, you are already stepping forward. And Sagittarius, if these words speak to a truth you've been quietly carrying, I invite you to make it known. Speak it aloud. Write it into existence. Comment below and say, I no longer carry the old weight, because saying it makes it real. It marks the transition. It allows your body, your mind, and your spirit to finally exhale. This is your turning point, and it didn't require fireworks. It simply required that you keep seeking. And now, look at you, lighter, clearer, ready. Let's keep moving forward together. There's more waiting for you on the other side of this breath, Sagittarius. She may have had control, but you have the truth, and no lie ever survives the rising of the truth. You are not the same as you were before this message began. Something in you has shifted, even if quietly, and that shift matters because what you've been walking through wasn't just a challenge, it was a divine preparation. The moment you stopped trying to fight what was out of your control, the universe began to move on your behalf. You were never meant to carry all that weight alone, and now you're not. What happened to you wasn't the end. It was the refining fire that softened your edges and shaped you into something even more true. You are the archer, Sagittarius, tested perhaps, but never off course. In fact, you are renewed with a vision so clear the past can't even recognize who you're becoming. You are not rising in spite of the pain. You are rising because of the wisdom it gave you. And here's the truth. The woman who tried to unravel your foundation underestimated one powerful truth. What is built on truth cannot be destroyed by a lie. Yes, her actions carried weight, but your soul carries a vision, and a vision never begs to be seen. It simply guides, and eventually everything else must adjust to its brilliance. So now I ask you to pause and reflect not on what went wrong, but on what's beginning to go right. Can you feel it? The loosening of burdens that were never yours to carry, the opening of your mind to possibilities that were previously blocked, the quiet clarity that tells you you made it through. Take a breath and ask yourself, what are you no longer willing to carry into this next chapter of your life? What are you finally ready to release? And if deep down you feel the resonance of freedom, if something in your spirit has been saying, yes, this is for me, then let the universe hear you. Comment below and write, I am released. I am ready for my next great adventure, because your words matter, your intention matters. And when you declare your readiness, you activate it in ways that ripple far beyond this moment. Thank you for being here, truly, for spending this sacred time with me, for choosing this message, and for letting Cosmic Treasure be a part of your healing and transformation. Every like, every comment, every time you share this video with someone who might need it, it deepens the energy of this space. You help us plant seeds of awareness, healing, and soul wisdom across this world. So, if this message touched something inside of you, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Cosmic Treasure, and share it with someone you know needs this message today. Not because they're broken, but because they're ready to rise. Your journey is sacred, your light is real, and your new chapter is already here. Let's walk into it together.